Imagine this, a young waitress, adored by everyone she serves, risks it all to save a child, and loses her job because of it. Can you believe it? That's the heart-wrenching tale of Maria Garcia, and trust me, it's a story that'll tug at your soul and make you wonder, what would you do in her shoes? We dive into the acts of compassion that brighten the darkest days. So, what really happened? And if you think stories like these, raw, honest, and powerful, deserve to continue, hit that subscribe button now and help us spread the word. Every single morning, at precisely 6:15, Maria Garcia stepped into Sunside Cafe like a burst of sunshine. At just 26, she danced through her shifts with the kind of grace that only comes from years of balancing steaming plates and dodging crowded tables. The little cafe, perched right across from City Park, was more than just a job for her, it was a stage where she shone. Through the big, gleaming windows, you could see the children's playground and winding paths, a perfect backdrop to the cozy outdoor seating where her customers loved to linger. And oh, how they loved her. Take Mrs. Winters, a sweet retired teacher who rolled in every Tuesday like clockwork for her scrambled egg and whole wheat toast. "Good morning, Mrs. Winters." Maria would chirp, pouring coffee with a hand so steady you'd think she was born with a pot in it. "Beautiful day to sit outside, don't you think?" Mrs. Winters would light up, her wrinkled face glowing. "You're looking cheerful today," Maria would add, and just like that, the older woman's day was made. It wasn't just her efficiency, Maria had this incredible warmth, this knack for remembering every little detail. She knew their orders, their stories, their quirks, treating each person like they mattered. No wonder her manager, Angela, always bragged that Maria's section kept the regulars coming back for more. But life wasn't all smiles for Maria. 6 blocks away, in a modest apartment, she lived with her younger sister, Elena. 3 years ago, cancer stole their mother away, shattering Maria's world and forcing her to drop her nursing studies. Can you imagine the pain of that choice? That framed acceptance letter to the nursing program still hung on their wall, faded but proud, a bittersweet symbol of a dream she refused to let die. Every night, after her feet ached from hours on the cafe floor, Maria would slump at their tiny kitchen table, textbook spread out, eyes burning as she studied online courses. She was determined, absolutely determined, to become a nurse someday, to honor her mother's memory and lift her little family up. Through those cafe windows, Maria often spotted Jason Matthews, a skinny 10-year-old with glasses that swallowed his face. His mom worked at the law office across the street, dropping him off early during the summer. He'd plop onto his favorite park bench, nose buried in comic books, waiting for the day camp bus at 9:30. Maria couldn't help but take him under her wing. She'd save him a blueberry muffin, sometimes sneaking an extra one into her apron pocket, handing it over during her break with a playful wink. "Tie those shoelaces, Jason," she'd tease, and he'd grin, crumbs on his chin. That morning, she'd noticed he looked extra lonely, so she'd tucked a second muffin away, just for him. The day started like any other. Maria glided between tables, her notepad scribbled with orders, her mind juggling refills and smiles. Angela hovered near the register, her sharp eyes flicking to the clock whenever Maria lingered too long with a chatty old-timer. Everything was humming along, until 8:47 a.m. Maria was balancing a tray of breakfast platters, the smell of bacon and toast wafting up, when a noise from the park stopped her cold. Through the glass, she saw Jason, sweet, quiet Jason, doubled over on the grass, one hand clawing at his throat, the other flailing like he was drowning. No one else was around. No adults, no help, just a terrified boy in the middle of the park. What would you do? Maria didn't hesitate. She slammed her tray onto the nearest table, coffee splashing everywhere, and blurted, "I'll be right back," to the stunned customers. She bolted out the door, shoving through the cafe gate, sprinting across the sidewalk, and leaping over the low hedge like some kind of superhero. In seconds, she was on her knees beside Jason, his gasps tearing through the air, his face a frightening shade of red. Her heart thundered, could she save him? "Jason, I'm here," she said, her voice steady as she gripped his shoulder. Look at me. We're going to breathe together, okay? She knew instantly, this wasn't choking, it was a panic attack. All those nursing lessons flooded back as she coached him, calm as a rock despite the chaos in her chest. In through your nose, out through your mouth, she urged, breathing with him. That's it, you're doing great. She fumbled for her water bottle, twisting it open with shaky fingers, offering him tiny sips as his gasps slowed. His little hand clung to hers, so tight it hurt. It happened again, he whispered, voice trembling. Mom said to call her, but I forgot my phone. It's okay, Maria soothed, brushing his sweaty hair back. We'll call her together when you're ready. 5 agonizing minutes later, Jason's breathing steadied, the red fading from his cheeks. Maria stayed right there, shielding him from the blazing sun until he could stand. Better? She asked, and he nodded, small and grateful. I've got to get back to work, but I'll check on you later, okay? Another nod. Thank you, Miss Maria, he murmured, and her heart swelled. Amazing. She'd done it, she'd brought him back from the edge. But the triumph didn't last. With a quick squeeze of his shoulder, Maria raced back to the cafe, guilt gnawing at her for the cold food she'd left behind. She barely made it through the gate when Angela loomed at the entrance, stiff as a statue, tablet clutched like a weapon. 4 minutes and 27 seconds. Angela barked, her voice echoing across the patio. That's how long you abandoned your section during peak hours. Maria's stomach dropped. There was a child in distress, she pleaded. Jason was having a panic attack, Anne. I don't care if the president was having a heart attack. Angela snapped, cutting her off. You were hired to serve customers, not play nurse in the park. Table 7 had to refill their own water. Table 9 still waiting for their check. The air grew thick. Customers squirmed, eyes darting away. Mrs. Winters looked like she might say something, her lips parted, but then she shrank back. I'm sorry about the inconvenience, Maria whispered, but I couldn't ignore a child in trouble. Angela shoved a pink slip at her. This is your termination notice. You've been warned before about chatting too long with customers. This is it. Clear your locker and don't come back tomorrow. Maria froze, the paper dangling between them. You're firing me for helping a child, she gasped, disbelief choking her. I'm firing you for abandoning your post without permission. Angela shot back, loud enough for everyone to hear. This is a business, not a charity. Unbelievable. Maria's hands trembled as she took the slip. Not one customer spoke up, not one. She grabbed her things from the staff room, her spare apron, a worn photo of her mom, and walked out, head high but heart shattered. The walk home was a blur. Passing the park, she saw Jason with his mom, both smiling at her. You're the one who helped my son earlier, aren't you? His mother whispered, gratitude shining in her eyes. Maria just nodded, too numb to tell them her kindness had cost her everything. She trudged on, the weight of the day pressing down. That night, at their cramped kitchen table, Maria spilled it all to Elena over a mug of tea. What happened? Elena demanded, horrified. A boy had a panic attack. I helped him. Angela fired me for leaving my station, Maria sighed. That's insane. You should fight this. Elena insisted. For what? Maria shrugged, exhaustion in her voice. I broke the rules. I left during a rush. But as Elena slept, Maria couldn't rest. She scrolled job listings, her laptop's glow lighting her tired face, then clicked on an old first aid course she'd saved. Could this be it? A sign to chase her nursing dream again, even if it meant night classes and scraping by. Then came the next morning. Maria sat sipping coffee, bleary-eyed, when a rumble shook the air. Louder, closer, until the whole building rattled. She stumbled to the balcony as 2 Black Hawk helicopters circled overhead, dark and ominous. The neighborhood went dead silent, faces pressed to windows. What was this? Her pulse raced. Was it tied to yesterday? Jason? Something bigger? She couldn't know, but the timing was too strange to ignore. Heartbreaking. Maria had given so much, her care, her courage, only to lose her job and face this mystery alone. Who had stepped up for her, this brave young woman who'd sacrificed for one act of kindness? No one yet, but as she stood there, helicopters roaring, a spark flickered in her. She'd helped Jason. She'd stayed true to herself. And maybe, just maybe, this chaos was the push she needed to finally become the nurse she was meant to be. So, here's the question, if you were Angela that day, what would you do? Stick to the rules and fire her, or honor her incredible, selfless act? Think about it, what's justice, really, when kindness is on the line? Wow! Can you imagine waking up to a sound so loud it shakes your entire world? At 6:45 the next morning, Maria Garcia and her sister Elena jolted awake as a thunderous roar rattled their windows and sent tremors through their apartment building. Heart racing, Maria dashed to the balcony and froze. Can you believe it? Two massive Black Hawk helicopters hovered right above their home. Their rotors sliced through the crisp morning air, whipping up powerful downdrafts that sent leaves and loose papers spiraling wildly through the street below. Neighbors stumbled out of their homes, sleepy eyes wide with confusion and awe, craning their necks to the sky. What in the world was happening? Down below, a military jeep screeched to a stop right in front of their apartment complex. Out stepped Lieutenant Colonel Valerie Chen, the chief nursing officer from the nearby Air Force Medical Wing, her dress uniform crisp and commanding. Beside her stood a couple, Jason's mother, whom Maria instantly recognized, and a tall man whose uniform glittered with insignia that screamed authority. By now, the whole neighborhood had spilled onto the street, phones thrust into the air, snapping photos and videos of this jaw-dropping scene. Maria, still bleary-eyed, wrapped her bathrobe tighter around her and hurried downstairs, Elena trailing close behind. Lieutenant Colonel Chen lifted a megaphone, her voice booming over the crowd. We're looking for Maria Garcia. Maria's heart pounded like a drum. Could this really be happening? She stepped forward, her voice trembling. I'm Maria Garcia. Chen nodded with military precision, then, get this, broke into a warm smile and extended her hand. Lieutenant Colonel Valerie Chen. Yesterday, you helped a young boy in the park. That boy is Jason Matthews, son of Colonel Robert Matthews, commander of Special Operations at Fort Benning. Maria's gaze flicked to the couple beside Chen. Colonel Matthews stood at parade rest, his face a powerful mix of gratitude and steel resolve. My son has a history of severe panic attacks, he said, his voice steady yet carrying across the crowd without a megaphone. Yesterday's episode could have turned dangerous, really dangerous. Your intervention stopped what might have been a full-blown medical emergency. Can you feel the weight of that moment? A father's relief pouring out in every word. Jason's mother stepped forward, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. When Jason told us someone from the cafe helped him breathe again, we just had to thank you in person. Then we found out you'd been fired for it. Fired. Can you believe it? Maria, who'd risked her job to save a child, now stood surrounded by military might and a growing crowd, all because of one selfless act. Lieutenant Colonel Chen raised her hand, hold your breath, and signaled to the helicopters. One began a slow, dramatic descent until it hovered just above the street. A uniformed soldier rappelled down, yes, rappelled, carrying a polished wooden box. The base commander authorized this special recognition, Chen declared, her voice ringing with pride as she handed the box to Maria. The Civilian Courage Recognition Medal is almost never given outside military families. And this flag? It flew over our medical center to honor your quick thinking and compassion. The crowd exploded into applause. Wow, a tidal wave of cheers crashing over Maria. Someone nearby was live streaming, her voice bubbling with excitement. Military helicopters in our neighborhood. Can you believe this? Maria stood there, still in her bathrobe, hair a mess, clutching a military honor she'd never dreamed of. What a sight! Colonel Matthews stepped up and snapped a crisp salute. "Not all heroes wear uniforms, Miss Garcia," he said, his tone firm and heartfelt. "Some wear aprons." A voice from the crowd shouted, "That's not just a waitress, that's a soldier's heart right there." Maria's cheeks burned as she glanced at the medal, then back at the officers standing tall before her, all because she'd dared to leave her post for a child in need. Meanwhile, over at Sunside Cafe, Angela was flipping through the morning receipts when her phone buzzed. She tapped it casually, then froze. The headline blared, "Local waitress honored with military ceremony after being fired for helping commander's son." The video showed Maria, bathrobe and all, receiving honors as Blackhawks loomed overhead. It was trending fast, with comments raging, "How could anyone fire her for that?" Angela's jaw tightened as staff crowded around. "Is that Maria?" Tina, a veteran server, gasped. "With helicopters?" Angela coughed, "Back to work, folks, we're short-staffed." But the buzz wouldn't quit. By noon, regulars were asking about the heroic waitress. 3 even demanded Maria's section, only to learn she was gone. Mrs. Winters, a fixture at the cafe, grabbed her purse and stormed out, muttering, "Lost my appetite." The cafe owner rang up by mid-afternoon, his tone sharp after catching the news himself. Short and sweet, that call changed things. By closing, a handwritten sign hung on the door, "Position available, seeking compassionate server." Small, sure, but oh so telling. A week later, Maria stood before a packed community forum. Can you picture it? The tiny auditorium overflowed with people, military uniforms mingling with civilian clothes, all there to hear about the waitress who chose kindness over a paycheck. Jason and his parents sat front and center. When Jason's mom took the mic, her voice trembled with grace. "I got to the park that morning and found my son calm, with a young woman I'd never met. She'd shaded him with her apron, given him water, and talked him through a panic attack that used to land us in the ER. I didn't thank her right then at the cafe, but today, I need you all to know, Maria Garcia didn't just save my son, she showed him courage in action." Maria took the stage next, her voice soft but unshaken. "I'm no hero," she said, almost pleading. "I just did what anyone with a little training would. A kid needed help, and I knew how to help, simple as that." Simple. "Oh, Maria, how humble can you be?" Afterward, Lieutenant Colonel Chen pulled her aside. "The Air Force Medical Wing has nursing scholarships," she said, all casual-like. "With your skills and heart, I'd love to recommend you." Maria's eyes welled up. "I can't take special treatment," she protested. Chen grinned. "It's not special, it's spotting potential. Skills we can teach, but compassion like yours? That's gold in medicine." As they parted, Chen added, "I've known plenty in uniform, Miss Garcia, but real courage doesn't need stripes." That tiny choice, for minutes off her shift, kept a boy safe and woke a whole community up to what matters. Maria never chased glory, but when right gets hushed up, honor has to shout. The military's grand gesture wasn't just for one deed, it screamed that some values soar above rules. In a life ruled by clocks and codes, sometimes your heart has to take the lead. The cafe bounced back from its PR mess, but only after new rules let staff handle emergencies without fear. Those Blackhawks over Maria's place. They carried no guns, just pure gratitude from a group that gets what quick, kind action means. They showed that heroism isn't always loud or uniformed, it's everyday folks making bold calls in quiet moments. Maria's back in nursing school now, that scholarship lifting her up. Why'd the Air Force bet on a civilian? Chen's answer is perfect, some folks serve long before they wear the badge. And Jason? He's not alone in the park anymore, his dad rearranged his life to share breakfast with him at a new cafe across town, where Maria sometimes pitches in on weekends between classes. Maria's story is a gut punch of inspiration that leaves me both uplifted and furious. Her selflessness, dropping everything to help Jason through his panic attack, is the kind of raw, human courage that makes your heart swell. At 26, she's juggling a grueling job, her sister's care, and a dream to become a nurse, all while carrying the grief of losing her mom. That's not just dedication, it's a fire that refuses to die. I'm in awe of her. But the injustice? It burns. Fired for saving a child because Angela clung to some rigid rulebook. It's maddening. Workplaces should celebrate compassion, not punish it. Maria's termination exposes a cold truth. Too often, society prizes protocol over people. Companies need policies with a pulse, ones that let employees breathe, act, and help without dread of a pink slip. Her story screams for that change. Then there's the military's response, Blackhawks roaring, medals shining. It's over the top, sure, but it's a thunderous salute to kindness that hits you right in the chest. Jason's family and the community rallying around Maria. That's the stuff that restores your faith in humanity. It's beautiful, messy proof that one small act can ripple out and pull people together. Maria's perseverance slays me too. After everything, loss, exhaustion, betrayal, she's still chasing that nursing dream. She's a quiet warrior, and her story is a blazing reminder, kindness isn't weakness, it's strength that can shake the world. We need more Mariahs, people who choose heart over rules, who stand up when it's hard. This isn't just a feel-good tale, it's a call to rethink how we live, work, and value each other. I'm rooting for her, and I'm pissed we don't protect heroes like her better. Maria's back in nursing school now, that scholarship lifting her up. Why'd the Air Force bet on a civilian? Chen's answer is perfect, some folks serve long before they wear the badge. And Jason? He's not alone in the park anymore. His dad rearranged his life to share breakfast with him at a new cafe across town, where Maria sometimes pitches in on weekends between classes. Can a tiny act really shake the heavens? Maria's story says yes. It's proof that kindness ripples far beyond what we see. Got a tale of goodness you've seen? Share it, let's celebrate the quiet game changers among us. Kindness is still here, like a porch light in the dark. Who are your unsung heroes? Share their names below, let their light shine. Subscribe and join us in advocating for justice, kindness, and the unsung heroes who light the way.